Hey, Clay Clark. It's your favorite gunslinger, Brett Favre. Just reminding you, you are a great American. I mean great. So keep slinging those Hail Marys. God bless.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh Merrill from Thrive15.com, and I'm super excited about today's episode. We've got one of our brand new mentors. It's Jerry from Jerry's Landscape. Jerry, welcome to the Thrive15 family.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Is there anything, before we get started with our episode here, that you just want to tell our Thrivers, just a nice tip for them?
Well, I think as I learned from my grandpa, he used to always tell me that you can lead a mule to the feeder, but you can't make him drink.
Wow.
And so I'm going to be talking fast.
Yeah.
I don't repeat. That's my style.
Yeah.
And you guys be ready to take notes.
So you're saying you can show us the path, but we've got to put action to it.
That's it.
I love it. I think that's great.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get started with what you're going to teach us today here. Now, I see you've got some samples.
Yeah.
What are we looking at up front here?
That's a weed.
Okay. Any specific type of weed, or?
Just your basic weed.
Yeah. How do you get rid of weeds?
Yeah, well, you got to pull them.
Okay.
I could show you how to do it.
I'd
Actually,
love to
it's really
see.
simple.
Love to see an example.
So it's really simple here. So let's pretend this is the soil.
Okay. This is the ground.
So this is your weed, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to get down, get low
You're gonna be up. Okay.
to the soil
Sure.
like this.
Sure. Yeah.
So you want to bend your legs.
Okay.
Lower your buttocks.
Sure.
Okay. Stick out your chest because
Okay.
you don't want to be pulling with your back. You're gonna have a short career.
Yes.
Okay. So you get your hands down as close to the soil bed as possible. Get your fingers on that root.
Yeah.
And then when you pull, you don't pull with your back. You pull with this. You pull with that right there. That's what you want. So you pull it, and so it's just a real simple. You grab, you grunt, and you pull, and that thing should come straight
And
up.
you're going straight up.
Straight up,
And
right
you'll
out.
see the root underneath that.
That's exactly right.
That's a great lesson for our Thrivers. Now, what would you say has driven your business for the past 20 years?
I would say my Chevy 1500.
Okay.
It has been a workhorse.
What is this right here?
Oh, this is the key to growing really nice grass.
Okay.
What this is soil.
Okay. And is this something that I can touch? Or?
Sure, absolutely. Get your fingers in there.
Okay.
It is, I would say, probably 80% manure.
Okay. Okay. Did not know that.
And there is an aroma with it as well. It's kind of a spiritual thing for me
Sure.
when I mix it.
Sure.
But you can go to my website, jerryslandscape.uk, to order that.
And .uk, that's
.uk.
United Kingdom,
It
London,
is.
Great Britain. Why
Yeah.
are you .uk?
Well, it's kind of my style.
Sure.
I learned from the
Learned from the British people, yeah. They've got some
they're
great
known
landscaping.
for their shrubbery. They're
Yeah.
known for their grasses.
Does that ever confuse anybody, the .uk?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we get calls all the time. People
Yeah.
are like, hello, could you come do my lawn in New Brunswick?
And you don't travel.
And it's like, no, man. We're from Oklahoma. Sorry, we don't do that there.
Have you ever thought about making this a franchise where you do have, Jerry's Landscape in other states, other countries, Canada, Mexico,
yeah.
Great Britain, France, wherever, Paris?
I don't know, man. It sounds like a ton of work. Just in travel time alone, I don't know what it would take up all my time.
We got some great lessons on franchise that you might want to check out. It'd be good. It'd be
sure.
good.
Yeah. Before we move on, I told you the mixing of the soil and this whole horticulture thing is a very spiritual thing for me.
Sure, yeah.
Could I speak an ancient blessing over the show and all that?
I would love that. I would love that. Should I just kind of...
No, you just stay there.
Okay.
I'll be fine. Ha hooga hee hoo, ha ho ha, ha hinga, tatunga hoo hee. Thank you.
Whew. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Everybody, Jerry from Jerry's Landscape. Thrive 15. Thrive on, guys.
Are you finding yourself always running out of time? Always running short on time? Always finding yourself in a spot where you just don't have enough time to get things done? Well, on today's show, we're going to teach you how to get 13 hours per week of your life back. But first, I would like to demonstrate what it looks like or what it sounds like to waste an epic amount of time.
The open outdoors. It's time for old Bob Roger to get out the old pen and pad and write down my notes. Dear notes, Today is June 4th. Dear Notes, this is the 4th day of June. Dear Notes, it's the day before the 5th of June. Dear Notes, it's 15 days till June 19th. Dear Notes, the month is June, and it's only just begun because, you see, it's the 4th. Dear Notes, it's 6-4. Dear Notes, it's Monday. Sincerely, Bob Roger. P.S. I need some more paper.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, it is a very special occasion because, Z, we're going to help you, the listener, regain 13 hours of your week back.
That's awesome.
13 hours, Z.
That's a little more than half a day. I mean, I just, I don't want to use math on you or anything.
Let's start off with this idea, and see if you want to argue with me. We have not rehearsed this in any way, shape, or form. I believe fundamentally that time is your most important asset. Do you agree with that, or would you say something else? I mean, do you believe in bronze is our most important asset, or silver, or money?
Precious gems, maybe. I don't
Bitcoin.
know.
In your mind, what is the most precious asset? Is time the most precious asset?
I would say that it probably is because they don't make any more of it, and it just keeps on ticking. I mean, even as we're doing the show, it's a ticking. And we only have so much time in a day, only so many times in a week. And it's how you use that, the most precious assets, is what I think separates winners from losers.
Well, we had a guest on the show earlier this year by the name of Nir Eyal. Nir Eyal. He's a best-selling author, and he recently wrote this book called Indistractable. Indistractable. And as I was going through his book, Indistractable, I thought, you know what? The Thrive Nation needs to know about this book and needs to know about a couple big ideas in the book. And one idea he has in the book, and I need you, Z, to teach us the moves.
I'm right here.
To help set us free. He says the average American is spending 13 hours a week stuck in a hunched over position responding to email. 13 hours.
It's so funny the other day. I had, I own several businesses, as we all know.
Yeah.
And I had one of my controllers was telling me, said, finally she texted me and said, I need this thing to wrap up some year end, to wrap up some stuff, I said, oh, okay. Well, I'll swing by and sign. I get it signed and we'll, finish it up. And she said, well, I emailed you so many times about that. Finally, I looked at her and I said, haven't you figured it out by now? I don't do emails. I don't read emails unless I'm specifically looking for one or needing one. So I'm like, if you want to get me, you text me or call me. But emails, I mean, that's just a delete game.
And I know there's somebody out there that's saying, really? You mean to tell me that you are giving me advice right now as a business owner to not check email? Well, I'm going to give you some rules for email, and so you can kind of break down the rules here
okay,
for me.
Let's break them down.
Rule number 1: your company should respond to client emails or customer emails. If anybody's paying you or you're paying them, your company needs to respond to that, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
But I think a lot of business owners can't seem to. They can't seem to separate themselves from the addictive behavior that they've been doing emails for so long that now you see business owners who have 20 employees, 30 employees, 40 employees, and they spend their day as the owner doing what is perhaps the lowest level activity possible, and it's responding to random emails. Help somebody out there. There's somebody out there listening right now who can relate to this, because the average person is spending 13 hours a week via email.
I know it's crazy. I loved your story you told a few weeks ago about how on the weekends you unplug from the Matrix.
I do, yes.
And that's what we're talking about, is unplugging from the Matrix. And if you've never watched The Matrix, go watch The Matrix. Okay. So anyway, you turn off your phone for the weekend.
Every weekend.
Every weekend. You're very relevant with your kids. And then whenever you do turn your phone on Monday morning, there is this
festival of lights.
A festival of tick, 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 tick. And I love the narrative where you had a former client
oh my gosh.
reach out to you in just a panic mode on like late Friday night. And then Saturday, just multiple times, panic. Sunday, panic.
Right.
And then Sunday evening late goes, oh, never mind, I got it figured out.
This week's narrative was kind of almost as funny. There was somebody who I agreed to meet with tomorrow, Tuesday, at a set time. And on Friday, the message comes in and says, just confirming, we're going to meet Tuesday, right? Question mark. So that was Friday night, I guess it came in or something. I didn't see it. Didn't see it Saturday. It's hey, I'm just confirming, making sure we're good.
Yeah,
for Tuesday.
Yep.
Sunday, hey, I just want you to know I can't meet Tuesday. Monday, did you get my message? That's 4 interruptions from my kids I would have had.
I know, and
4 from the same person.
And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of, just take a deep breath, because this is very stressful to think that you could ever be disconnected from the litany of emails that constantly are pushed out to you. Just think, meditate on this.
Will somebody die?
They might.
If I unplug?
Because you didn't get the email.
Will somebody die? What if my kids are trying to reach me?
If it's really important, they'll figure out a way to get it to you.
Oh, boy.
So a lot of times, it's just like you said with these things. I mean, people email you something and they want a response, but that doesn't mean you have to give them a response. Now, if you are, like Clay said, if you are the person that's hired to read and to respond to emails for your company, that's a whole different keg of, can of worms. We're talking about, like me, I don't sit there and read emails. I don't really even look at emails. And I figure, to me, if it's important and they know my email address, they can call my office, get a hold of my personal assistant. They can figure, if it's important, then they will get in touch with me. They'll call me or they'll text me. Now, text messages I do listen to, but those aren't just random push messages. It's getting a little bit more that way anymore, but they're quick, they're easy. Bam, I get rid of them, and they're not. It doesn't bother my lifestyle like emails and formulating a response, and then, or do you have to respond, or oh my gosh, because to them it's. And I love the ones that come in on the capital letters: urgent, emergency, and I don't even look at those. And I figure if it's urgent, if it's an emergency, you don't send it by email. That's just the way it is. So, I mean, for me, it frees up my life. It frees up my day. I probably spend more time trying to unsubscribe to cred that you get subscribed to. I think there's a whole barter system based upon Bitcoin, and then the second most popular bartering system is email addresses. I'll give you 10, you give me 10. I'll sell you 5, you sell me 5.
Think about this idea for a second. If you waste 13 hours a week responding to emails, and there's 52 weeks in a year, that's going to take us to a spot where you go, that's kind of a big number. That's kind of a big number. And then you say 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. So for every decade, Holmes, you are losing 169 40-hour weeks every decade.
Wow.
169 weeks every decade. I mean, we're talking about it's like a day and a half, almost 2 days a week. The average person is spending on email. And I want to get Charles Colaw's take on this in a second. But before I do that, I feel like I need the megaphone, because this is I want to bring some nuance and some subtlety to this idea. Here, Z.
Do it.
I'm going to make a list of the things you don't have to respond to. Okay, you don't have to. And Z, you're the first one really who gave me permission to not respond to these things, and I think it helped me a lot. So I'm going to bring up these things,
okay,
and you can unpack them. I'm just going to list them off. These are things that we don't have to respond to, but we feel like we have to. So here we go.
Hey, before we do that,
Yeah.
I think Charles wants to.
Charles has a hot take
and
right
he's-
now.
he's a
We're
big-
going live and hot to Charles right now in the booth here.
Yes, Clay. A few months ago, Clay was talking to me about emails because I get lots of emails coming in.
Oh, yeah, you
and
do.
My leadership team was sending me a bunch of different stuff. We have 2 different projects right now going.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm getting these emails in, and he says, death by email. I'm like, what is that? He's like, that's when people just send you email after email after email. It's like communicating like in text messages back and forth by email. And that stuff was all funneling in from some of my leadership team. And he coached me up because I feel like everything's a burning fire and I've got to respond quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're like sitting on top of your email, which is totally not practical as a leader or
Dude.
as anybody being productive on your action steps for the day. And he says, schedule a time. Everybody has to do it within that time frame. Your business will not fail.
Yes.
Your business will not burn down. And I coached my staff through that, and it was a game changer. Just the last 2 months, my VP, Dan Harrigan, he was like, this has changed. It's even freed him up because it's given him more power to make decisions.
Yep.
And then on that set time, he's literally got like 15 or 20 quick questions, and we can just run through it like that. Bam,
It is
bam, bam.
awesome.
And I can make a decision. And it was like hours of emails back and forth throughout the work week. And so it was huge. So you were a huge part of that. He said, oh my gosh, death by email. You got to stop that. You got to get it into a set scheduled time. So I meet with him on the gatekeeper meeting every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we knock out all those
Oh, my
action
gosh.
items, all those decisions.
It's turning me on right
and
now.
half of the
Stop it.
people figure out half of the problems within each department get figured out by the time you get it. So you only have to deal with your upper level issues, and you don't have to deal with all the petty things.
So what I do on a daily basis, and I appreciate you sharing that, Charles. What I do is I get to work, I plan out my day. I like to get up at 3 in the morning. You don't have to do that. Get up at 5 or 6 or 7, whatever works for you. But I get up at 3, and I plan out my day. I make my to-do list. I make my calendar. And then after I've done that, John tells me the emails that I need to respond to that are related to me personally. So I just want to share with the listeners. Can I share with the listeners my specific stuff I had to respond to today via email? Does that sound fair?
It sounds fair to me.
So let me pull up my list here. I've got a to-do list, and Kendall, you can zoom in on the list, just my to-do list here. So I'm gonna pull it up real quick here, and here we go. I'm gonna look here. Okay, so I had to let's see here. For Sam Adams Realty, I have a $286 bill. Boom. Matthew Farici, who's a wonderful PR expert guy, has suggested we might want to interview a Princeton professor on the show. That's cool. Elephant in the Room has a new commercial that I need to proof. But anyway, you can see the things on this list are the only things that I don't need to John just puts it on the list, the things that I need to respond to there. I don't need to respond to everything, see?
That's a fantastic list, I just might say.
It's fantastic, but I don't need to respond to everything. Furthermore, I never, ever, 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 ever look at my email at all after 6 in the morning.
That's great.
Now, I've read a lot of books about this, so work with me on this. Most of the super successful people, Paul Graham talks about this. Paul Graham, the guy behind Airbnb, Dropbox, and Reddit, he explains that he spends 90% of his day not near a smartphone. 90% of his day.
Awesome.
90, not the other way around. So I'm going to make a list, Z, of the things that you do not have to respond to, and then Z, you can preach why. I'm going with the megaphone because I want it to be nice and subtle. Here we go. You do not have to respond to mass mailers. When you receive a mass mailer, Z, why do you not have to respond personally, call Victoria's Secret, and let them know you will not be doing business with them today?
You know what? Sometimes I think when you try to unsubscribe, they know then it's an active email, and then they sell it to other people. They don't get any more from them, but then all of a sudden it seems like it goes boop, 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 boop. You get more. So I'm not sure if that's even the move.
You don't have to respond.
You don't have to respond if because your lack of response. Here's one thing I told someone the other day. They said, "Man, I keep texting this person, they won't text me back." I go, "There's your answer." They are answering you. And when you don't respond to one of these mass emailings that is just throwing a big net out there to see if they can catch somebody, your non-response is your response.
Now, you don't have to respond to sales calls. Like if somebody calls you and you answer the phone and you recognize that it's a sales call, you don't have to take that call.
Yeah, I love it now on my smartphone when I get a call to say spam risk. And I'm thinking, Okay, and I'm just kind of curious what they were trying to sell me. Maybe I never answer. If I don't have the number locked into my phone, I never answer them. So a lot of times I'll tell people, hey, I'm going to call you, and I give them my number. So text me first and let me know it's you. Otherwise, I won't answer it. But if you leave a message, I'll call you back if it's, if I need to.
There's also really this terrible, nefarious thing called robocalls. You don't have to respond to robocalls. You don't have to respond to robocalls.
Robocalls, robo emails, or anything. But on a sidebar, you want my least favorite emails to get?
What is it?
Is when I have two employees that are high up in the organization, maybe a manager here or a controller here or a accountant here or something, and they get into a fight, and they do it via email. And they CC me because that's the power that I know. And I just chuckle sometimes and I laugh and I go, I just delete. And I go, did they even think that I'm going to read this? I mean, if it's a problem that I need to address, someone will call me, right? I'm not going to sit here and follow them going tit for tat with each other on why this bill should have been paid a week ago or just whatever it is, or why wouldn't that invoice looked at closer, just all that kind of inner workings of fighting, and it's all bickering, it's all caps and, this and that and urgent, and you're an idiot and all that kind of stuff, so.
Now, people you don't like, you don't have to return their call ever. If you don't like them. Is that true?
Unless you're married to them, then you probably need to.
Whoa, that's a different show. Now, you don't have to respond to communication from people you don't want to know.
That is true too. I mean, you get to choose the people you talk with. You get to choose how you spend your day. If you want to. If not, you can just let all these push notifications and emails and spam calls and robocalls, and you could eat up pretty much your entire day just working that alone.
You don't have to respond to Facebook invites or birthday. The old birthday move. Hey, it's your birthday. Now I'm going to spend your entire. I'm going to force you to respond to my birthday well wish to you. You don't have to respond to that.
Yeah, I challenge you this. Fasting is something good for us. It's good for our mind. It's good for our bodies. And you don't always just have to fast from a food item or food groups. I would give you this. I'd give you a 30-day fasting challenge. Everybody listening out there, our listening audience, and that is from social media. Just unplug it. I mean, delete it off your phone. Delete it off your computer. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Anything you have on there that is a social media app, delete it for 30 days and see how you feel. It's kind of like, not eating, kind of going vegan for 30 days or doing like Charles does and eat nothing but chicken and cottage cheese and water or so. I don't know what he does, but anyway,
it's vegetables. That's all he does over there.
And the first few days, because they have designed those to be addictive. If you don't know that, now you do. They've designed them to be addictive, and they kind of mess with your brain a little bit because addictions are that way. So the first few days may be tough. I mean, maybe going, oh wow, I wonder what Billy posted, because Billy always posted. He always posts something really cool every day. He always posts an uplifting, encouraging, edifying statement, and I need that today. So I'm going to get back on Instagram and just look at that because that's good for me. No, don't. 30 days without social media and see how you do. And I bet you when you're done with 30 days, you're happier, you were more productive, you got more stuff done, you were less upset over some silly argument that was happening on Facebook about whatever Trump did, the last Trump thing he did or whatever. And it's a game changer. Charles.
Yes. Hey, we detoxed our kids off it. We grounded our kids from all social media.
I love the story.
For a couple weeks. And it was amazing. They were happier. They're communicating with adults like intelligent human beings. You could sit there and have dinner, and they're interacting and talking about their day. And I'm like, look at you guys. You guys are so much happier without all of these distractions. It's amazing to me how much joy it brought in our house.
I call it gamer face. Gamer face. It's when people have been playing video games too long.
Yes.
And you see them, and they're like, and you go, hey, no, seriously, how are you?
Yes.
It's a gamer face. It's weird.
It's game. Back in our day, we didn't have all this, but video games were a thing because that was on the upswing. You guys would stay up all night for days playing a game.
Bro, I played Galaga for 7 days straight.
Bro, I nearly beat my record twice. Bro.
You smell like fish. Have you taken a shower this week? No, I just was trying to get the next level. I mean, just get out of there.
I can't get past that one boss, man. It's so close.
Now, other things you don't have to respond to. You don't have to respond to LinkedIn messages.
Don't.
You don't have to respond to YouTube messages.
Nope.
You don't have to respond to text messages or voice messages. Now, this is what's crazy. If you're an entrepreneur, you are going to feel the need to respond because you had to be super responsive to build that baby business.
Oh, yeah.
So now you feel like you have to respond because you're that guy who can't handle the voicemail being full. Now, this is some really crazy crap. As we've started interviewing more billionaires and millionaires on this show, I have discovered that almost every billionaire and millionaire that we've interviewed on the show doesn't actually have a voicemail. Like this is their voicemail. The typical voicemail is, "Thank you for calling Clay Clark. We appreciate your call, and please leave your name and number. Please leave your name and number after the beep, and I'll get back to you." Something like that. But when you call these super successful people, their voicemail is just a click. Like it just boop, and there's nothing there, and it says this voicemail box is full. So I thought what I would do a couple years ago, I'm gonna call my own voicemail here and see what happens. I had Andy, my friend who's British, do my voicemail, and it is the best ever because people don't leave voicemails, and if they do, let me cue it up here.
It's intimidating.
Let me see if it works.
His voice comes on there, and it's just, I like to call it just to hear him.
I'm gonna call it.
Please enter your password, then press pound.
I don't know what just happened.
What'd you do? What happened?
That's my current voicemail, I guess. It's just great. Isn't that great?
It's
They're like, what happened? And so people tell me all the time, like, dude, I tried leaving you a voicemail. Is your phone messed up? I love that.
Yeah.
It is
yeah,
awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's messed up, bro. Sorry. It's always messed up.
Oh,
a
man.
glitch.
And
It's
if you dress like this and you have a voicemail like that, no one's going to try to talk to you.
No one. It's so good.
It's awesome.
So good. It's the move.
It's
the
great.
Move. It's the move.
It's hard to even get service at restaurants when you dress like this. But the point is, if you're either gaining traction or distraction. And here's the teaching moment, okay? Picture, Z, we've got a Nir Eyal talks about this in his book. He says, picture a line going from left to right. And if you're watching on video right now, I'm not sure how this will reverse out, but just picture a line from left to right. And Z, every time you do something that gets you closer to your goal, that's called traction.
Traction.
Every time that you do something that takes you further away from your goal, that's called distraction.
Distraction.
So you have to ask yourself, by taking that call, are you getting closer to your goal or further away? So this book I'm working on right now called Mastermind Manuscripts, Z, we've got some huge people that have agreed to be in the book so far. We got John Maxwell.
Oh, yeah.
He's down. We got John Maxwell. He's in. Hurst Schultz, the co-founder of Ritz-Carlton, is in.
Oh, yeah.
We've got, big names. But guess who shut me down this week?
I think I was there when they shut you down.
I think Seth Godin shut me down. And I'll tell you why he shut me down. Because apparently I'm a distraction. I think. Because I'm not getting him closer to his goal based upon the overview of the book. Mm-hmm. And I know that Seth is becoming increasingly guarded with his time because he recognizes he has less of it.
Right.
And I'm not mad that he rejected me. Ross Golan, the Grammy Award-winning artist, he told me no. So apparently I'm a distraction, and I'm not offended by it. So you've got to ask yourself, when you check, so let's do this, Kendall. Let's pull up my Facebook. Z, I'm going to pull up my Facebook here, and I'll read some of the messages, and you tell me if I should respond to these, okay?
I would pull up mine, but I don't have a Facebook.
Oh, nice. I'm going to pull it up here. So here we go. I'm pulling it up. It's kind of fun when you haven't been in it a long time and you go in here. So I've got a guy who's well, hey, you're actually filming their. This is not going to work if you film their actual names. This is too transparent. Let's be semi. Can you blur it maybe or something? Or geez, this guy's putting me. Okay, so I got 5 people that are having birthdays right now. I guess it's telling me I got 5 people I know with birthdays.
Oh, that's nice.
In order to be a good person, do I have to let them know happy birthday? Am I a bad person if I don't do that?
No,
no. So I used to feel like I was a bad person.
No, it's no to both.
So I don't have to?
You don't have to.
Okay. I got another person who wrote a comment, very nice comment, about one of our businesses, and they're very appreciative, and I appreciate that they're appreciative. That's great. But do I have to respond to the comment?
No.
But I have people on my team that are on top of that, but I don't have to. And then you get these private messages. Devin, how do I get to my private messages? What do I do? It's been, oh, wow, I got friend requests here.
Whoa. Oh, my. Oh, yeah.
Let's do eeny.
Really, somebody wants to be a friend with you.
Let's do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go. Yes, that's eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I did it, and I guess I need to do this for 13 hours. I haven't done this in I haven't done this in I think 13 months. Even been in here. Let's hit the confirm button. Let's do that. And now let's go. I mean, where are the messages, Devin? How do I get to
the one with the little that
Oh, this is where they're a direct message.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, this is gonna be awkward because I got a message from my mom, and I love my mom, but I equally discriminate. I never respond to anyone's messages. I don't, and you know why I don't? Because in there are things that I don't want to deal with.
I know. That's the other thing too about not responding to these things and not having social media and not doing all that. Ignorance is bliss. Yes. And the other thing that I think is kind of the sidebar of this whole topic we're talking right now.
Yeah. I'm kind of addicted.
Is now. I'll let him have his little Facebook moment, get his endorphins going good, and good and solid there. Is what you're going to do with those 13 hours.
There we go.
If you say, well, I'm not going to do emails, but now that gives me more time to play Xbox, and then you just flip it for Xbox. It's a net no gain. So, people are all the time saying there's not enough time in the day to do the things that you're telling me to do.
Right.
They come to our business conferences and they get all excited, they get all hot and bothered, and they write everything down, they get their free books, they get their free stuff, they shake and greet a lot of people that are in the same same place that they are in life, maybe not the same industry, of course, but the same place. And then they go home, and then you check in with them later. They check back in with you later and say, well, did you get XYZ done? And they're like, I just don't have time. I just don't have time to do it. And that's one of the things that I hear a lot is that when people come up and say, I want to start a business, and you go, what's the first step? You tell them the next step. We give them a little pathway to get there.
Give them the path. There it is.
And then when you check back in with them a month later, you go, well, did you get step 1 done? And like, I can't find the time. And I think it's because we have so many of these time wasters.
Yeah.
And this is just one of many time wasters. And that's another reason why I say get off of social media for 30 days.
Get off it.
And take that extra time with your life. Maybe hang out with your kids, your spouse a little bit more.
No.
Oh, crazy, I know.
Talk to people?
Talk to people?
What are you saying?
Go do something fun.
What a controversial idea.
Take your kids to a movie?
What?
Oh, that's crazy. And find out, challenge yourself what you can do with that extra time that you freed up. And then you can, because Forbes tells us, or there are Business Bible, Forbes tells us that 67% of you listening right now are wanting to be in business for yourself. You're wanting to.
And we'll put a link to that stat so everybody can check it out. It's unbelievable.
And so that means 2 out of 3 of you are doing it. And why aren't you doing it right now? Maybe you don't have the right idea. Maybe you don't have the right mentor.
Well, right now I can't because I'm on Facebook.
maybe because you don't feel like you have the time to do it.
Oh.
You may think to yourself, that's pretty daunting. And it is. It's a commitment, and you got to be all in, and you got to go. And most people can't quit their job.
Come on now.
To start a business. You've got to overlap them some. And then that means now your time, what little precious time you have now, is getting sucked up even more. So you've got to be able to get off of emails. You've got to be able to get off of social media. Free up some time.
You got to quit reading blogs and watching TED Talks.
You got to do that, and then you got to take those steps. And if you say, what are those steps? And I'm excited, and you're maybe new to the show. Well, we come out to our next conference. We do a 2-day conference. We walk through all the steps on how to take an idea and turn it into a business, and it's a lot of fun.
Steve Jobs, who couldn't be here today because Devin, why couldn't we book Steve Jobs on today's show? What's your theory?
What's his excuse this time?
I think he died.
Okay, that always makes it tough. Thank you for keeping track of that.
That's why he didn't respond to my email.
We were a distraction to a dead man. But he says here, Steve Jobs said back in the day, he says, the doers are the major thinkers. The people that really create the things that change this industry are both the doer and the thinker in one person, the doer and the thinker. So see, this weekend, I was thinking because
were you doing or just thinking?
Well, I was thinking and I was doing.
Oh,
so here's my wife. We have cheerleading, and some weekends are more cheer intense, where you've got a competition or you've got a workshop.
Oh no! I know how much you love being a cheer dad.
Yeah, and what's cool is if they're in town, if it's a workshop or something, or an in-town a clinic or performance, I only have to go to that 2 or 3 minutes where they perform, and then I'm out.
And then you're out.
And they perform for like 3 minutes. So I go see it and I peace out. So this weekend, I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write a book this weekend, just to see, if we could do it.
Yeah, why not?
Because this show's about getting stuff done,
Getting her done.
So this book, it's called Entrepreneurship, Simplified, Amplified, and Visualized. It's based upon the Albert Einstein quote. He says, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Yep.
And so in that book, I lay out Just the really simple stuff. Like, what is entrepreneurship? You know, it's selling a solution to somebody who's willing to pay for it, you know. Talk about don't reinvent the wheel. Like, literally just copy what works and improve upon it. Talk about chapter 3, escape the wage cage, you know. But if you do, understand that you're going to be chased by a Viking in your pursuit of bags of money. The competition's chasing after you. So be careful if you escape that wage cage, because you might get killed.
Because now you're in a fight.
There you go.
Now you're, you know, it's kind of like wandering into one of those UFC fights.
Uh-oh.
You know, I mean, the cage.
Yes.
And being surprised that someone just throat punched you.
Mr. McGregor, why are you so violent right now?
Why you seem so angry? Business is war. And people go, oh, that doesn't sound like fun. Well, it's fun when you win. Trust me. But it's fun when you win.
I see people, though, I mean, pastors, doctors, dentists, lawyers, people who are very successful who say, I don't have time to write a book. I just did it this weekend. And you say, well, how long of a book is it? Well, I mean, right now, this one will come out to about 200 pages.
You just shamed me. You just shamed me.
No, I'm not shaming you.
No. You did. I'm doing it to myself because I've been wanting. I have a book that's practically written. I just got to sit down and do it.
Well, I'll sit down with you for a weekend and do it.
Okay. Well, I'll stop doing my emails and then I'll have time to do it. So.
This is the 3 things we need to get a book out of you.
Okay.
A red Solo cup.
Okay. Red Solo cup.
Vodka cranberry.
Vodka cranberry.
You and me, and I'll come out with a book.
That's 4 things, isn't it?
No, because if it's you and me, I just made it once. It's 3.
Oh, and vodka cranberries. I guess that's the same thing.
Well, technically, we have like 5 things we need.
I know 5 things. Boy, you're just kidding. It's
and a computer.
The list is getting long.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's just the time of sitting down to do it. And I can tell you this: about every hour I'm working on the book, I'm like, frick, because it's tough. But then you get up, you burn some pinion wood, you get back after it.
You get back after it.
I was so mad at myself because writing is so hard for me. I said, I'm going to build that freaking path out there. That's what I did. I built that rock path,
and I am forever grateful.
Rage.
I'm forever grateful. I'm not sure where you started. You must have started it towards the driveway because you kind of ran out of rock.
I started it towards
it's
the
wide.
driveway.
It's kind of too wide in some places, and kind of, you know.
You listen here, buddy.
Hey,
I have paid a company to build that. And that company has not built it, so I've got the rocks just sitting around, and I'm like, I'm going to at least do something right now.
It's like that famous sign. You could probably Google it, pull it up on the screen, but it's like that famous sign that says "Think Ahead," and the think, and then the head, and then they run out of room. You know, for the D, they can't get the D has to get really small, you know, because they didn't quite have enough. They didn't think ahead about before they wrote it, so it's kind of.
That's how I am when I write a card. I'm like,
yeah,
gotta cut it short.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm gonna read. Z, do you feel like that the guy who made the Facebook like button is a credible source to discuss the Facebook like button?
Let me think about that. Okay, I've thought about it. Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal. Justin Rosenstein, he is the gentleman who invented the Facebook like button. All right. And there's an article in The Guardian that came out where they're interviewing him, and it's a fabulous interview. And the article is called "Our Minds Can Be Hijacked: The Tech Insiders Who Fear a Smartphone Dystopia." Google, Twitter, and Facebook workers who helped make technology so addictive are now disconnecting themselves from the internet. Justin Rosenstein had tweaked his laptop operating system to block Reddit. He banned himself from Snapchat, which he compares to heroin, and he imposed limits on his use of Facebook. But even that wasn't enough. In August, the 34-year-old tech executive took a more radical step to restrict himself and his use of social media and other addictive technologies. Rosenstein purchased a new iPhone and instructed his assistant to set up a parental control feature to prevent him from downloading any apps. By the way, Craig Rochelle, the pastor of the largest church in America, has done the same thing. He was particularly aware of the allure of Facebook likes, which he describes as bright dings of pseudo-pleasure that can be as hollow as they are seductive. And Rosenstein should know he was the Facebook engineer who created the addictive like button in the first place. A decade after he stayed up all night coding a prototype of what was then called the awesome button, Rosenstein belongs to a small but growing band of Silicon Valley heretics who complain about the rise of the so-called attention economy, an internet shaped around the demands of an advertising economy. These refuseniks are rarely founders or chief executives who have little incentive to deviate from the mantra that their companies are making the world a better place. Instead, they tend to have worked a rung or two down the corporate ladder. Designers, engineers, and product managers who, like Rosenstein, several years ago, put in place the building blocks of a digital world from which they are now trying to disentangle themselves. It is very common, Rosenstein says, for humans to develop things with the best of intentions for them to have unintended negative consequences. Rosenstein, who also helped create GChat during a stint at Google and now leads a San Francisco-based company that improves office productivity, appears most concerned about the psychological effects on people, who research shows now touch, swipe, or tap their phones 2,617 times per day.
Whoa.
There is growing concern that, as well as addicting users, technology is contributing towards so-called continuous partial attention, severely limiting people's ability to focus and possibly lowering their IQ. We go on and on. If you look up, is your smartphone making you dumb? And Devin put a link to it. The Psychology Today now reports that your cognitive learning capacity drops to a level where you're basically a fifth grader mentally when your smartphone is present and you're glancing at it while talking to another adult.
Wow.
And we've all seen this before. And Charles, you got a hot take. We've all been in a meeting, though, where somebody is sitting there on their smartphone in the meeting. Yep. And man, and we've all been to a movie with somebody like this. And it makes you crazy. I went to a movie as recently as very recently, and the person next to me kept doing this every 10 to 15 minutes at a very nice theater, the Warren Theater, by the way. They kept going, what's this about? What's this part about? What's going on?
Watch the movie.
We're here together. I know as much of the backstory about this person as you do. And about every 9 minutes, they come back mentally. What was this part about? What was it about? Charles, you had a hot take.
Yes, I was going to say, you had said before that the average person has with like texts and emails and social media things about 170 dings on their phone or whatever. What was that number?
Well, Psychology Today, every year they do more studies. And Devin, I'll have you put a link to the article, Is Your Smartphone Making You Dumb? And then the other one, Is Your Smartphone Making You Depressed? The number we reported 2 years ago was 90. Then it went up to 100. Now they're saying we're up to like 120.
Yep.
And there's some studies that are really disturbing, and I'm not exaggerating. This is very scary stuff. And Devin put a link to our interview with Laurie Santos, the professor at Yale who's doing a class on this. But see, when people kill themselves, these teenagers and college people, they're taking their phone and kind of doing like a phone biopsy, and they're looking at the phone, and they're finding that the people who kill themselves are using their smartphone about 2 to 3 times more than the people who don't.
Okay.
It's like they're in a perpetual argument with the world on their phone, and they can't escape it. So it's some dangerous stuff out there.
It is some dangerous stuff. And don't even get me started on this whole driving and using your smartphone. I tell you what, if I had $1 for every time I sat behind someone at a light and the light would turn green, and you look over at them or you look up in front of you and they're on that dang phone, you're just like, oh, people, really?
People.
The 37 seconds that light was red, you had to get out your phone and look something up. Seriously,
I got bumped by an air conditioning truck the other day getting off of the creek, and so I get off and I'm waiting to turn right on going north on Riverside there, past the toll, and I had to wait to merge because there's traffic everywhere, and I just get bumped pretty hard, like boom, like just, and I'm in the Hummer, I'm not mad or anything, but I get out and the guy was like, I am so sorry. I just had a customer text come in, and I shouldn't have glanced at it. I'm not going to sue him and file a claim. He bumped into a Hummer with 200-something thousand miles on. I'm good. But he's like, I'm so sorry. I just glanced first. All it takes is just a glance, and the next thing you know, Charles, you had a hot take.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's where all those interactions every day pull you off track from your action items or your task list. That's the most important revenue-producing activities. You had started me off with business coaching. You had actually told me to shut off my phone, stick to my action items on my written agenda, and it was a game changer. Like, I thought I wasn't doing that well. I thought I was doing that well, but I wasn't, and you coached me through that, so that was huge. And a new quote that Pastor Craig just came out in one of his last sermons, he says, a distracted warrior is a destructive warrior.
Oh, yes.
So if you're distracted, you're being destructive to your future. If you're an entrepreneur, You're from all of your goals. I mean, your highest is. Go ahead.
And also in this I don't want to take the show to a super weird place, but it's powerful. It's powerful. Pastor Craig says, this is so good. He said you have to hate the distractions.
Yes.
And he also went on, his talk was about adult content and pornography, and he said,
yes.
What is, how do I, as the pastor of, and everyone should watch the sermon. Devin, put a link to Pastor Craig's last sermon on today's show notes. But he says, how do I prevent myself from looking at adult content? And he was really funny. He goes, when I was 27, I prayed to God that he would cure me of lust. I prayed, and all of a sudden, bam! And I never had a lustful thought again. And he's like,
that's not true.
That's not true. That did not happen. And then he says, but what I do is I've set up these things where I can't download an app.
Yep.
I can't go look at adult sites. And he goes, I have a keystroke recorder on my computer and all my devices. So my top, 3 or 4 people in command, they can see what I'm doing all the time. And then not only is it helpful for him to, like if he can't find a file, they can see where he's been looking. There's all sorts of benefits to it. But he's like, then it's just not a temptation.
Yep.
And so he was talking about the temptation being the thing. And I would just say, we have got to right now determine where do we want to go with our life. And for me, what I want to do, what I want to do is I have some books in my brain, 21 of them that are in my brain,
wow.
And I have got 16 of them out. And I don't know where the other ones will be, but I had 21 in my brain, and I have 16 of them that are done. And so right now, I'm publishing. Should be out maybe this week. Devin, Podcast Domination. Are you launching that on Amazon? Is it this week or next week?
I think it's still in editing. So.
Okay, but we got Podcast Domination. We got If the Walls Could Talk. We've got the Entrepreneurship Simplified. We've got the Mastermind Manuscript. So I'm almost done with the books that are in my head. But let me tell you the trade-offs I've made. Really not that many. Because I don't have 13 hours a week, Z. I'm wasting on email.
Right.
You're the most productive human I've ever met.
I was we did a podcast on Saturday morning, and somebody was looking at my schedule, and they go, "Do you block out every hour?" Z, can you talk about because you're at a different place. You're 15 years further down the road than I am.
Before you ask me that,
yeah.
I've just been over here doing a little Googling.
Yeah, do it.
and I found some interesting stuff on smartphones and car wrecks.
Please.
I mean, they say it's now worse than drunk drivers because drunk drivers are at least driving slow and maybe they're swerving a little bit. Whatnot. Yeah, semi-conscious. I mean, people that are on smartphones, they're not slowing down. I mean, they're hitting full impact. I mean, they're not. I mean,
Dude,
bam.
It's dangerous.
Yes. What it said on here? It said, hold on, let me get back up here. It says,
I can say this:
26% of all car accidents were caused by cell phones.
Devin, look up this.
And that was in 2014.
This is look this up. Look at this. This is crazy. Look up pedestrian deaths caused by smartphones. In New York, they're having people just I was at Target, and I shared this story on a previous show, but I was at Target probably about a year ago. Awesomest thing ever. See, this guy is the cool guy. You know the cool guy who wears the compression sleeve?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Charles, you know the guy in the gym with the compression sleeve. He's got the baller shorts. He's got the do-rag on like he's Deion Sanders. He's the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah, they got these things now. They have the masks that go over their face that helps them with the breathing.
You know what I mean, though? This is the coolest guy.
Yeah.
You can picture him because you own a gym. You've seen the coolest guy in the world.
Oh,
the coolest guy in the world is walking into Target, and he is the coolest. I mean, he's the coolest guy ever. He's a
cool cat.
You picture the Backstreet Boys at their peak. I mean, this is like, wow, this is AJ from Backstreet Boys at the peak. I mean, This is Mark Wahlberg. This is Elvis. This guy's cool.
He's cool.
He's cool. He's a cool cat. And Homeboy, I'm getting my cart, and Homeboy walks into the door, face right into the door, full speed, because there's the opening doors, and the doors open, but he was off too far to the right, and he just walks into that wall, that glass wall, and boom! I mean, like his face and his teeth hit that thing, and it's like, boom! And now he's got the Apple ear things on, the earbuds.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like trying to play it off, like I'm cool, and he's looking down. And I'm like watching this guy, and seriously, because once you see him, you kind of see him everywhere. So I go over to the book section. I'm trying to get a book.
Kind of see him everywhere.
No, because he's everywhere now. My wife's shopping, so I'm at the book section. Whenever she shops, I just go to the book section, look for books, whatever. So I'm looking at the Gucci Man autobiography. I'm looking at an autobiography from Chip Gaines. I'm kind of flipping through some books. I get back in the line, and Homeboy's doing self-checkout, but he can't pay attention long enough. to check out. And I'm watching him, and I'm like, struggle bus. Come on, my man. Because people are like behind him in line. And he can't like do the card, and he can't, and the lady's trying to help him, and he just can't. I don't know what he's listening to. And so anyway, that set me off on kind of a research deep dive. And another funny story that I just read about, but Sam Smith, the super popular pop artist,
Yes.
he's on a subway in England, and
Oh,
he's
yeah, that's a
noticing
great
the guy next to him is blaring Sam Smith in his headphones. But so Sam Smith is sitting next to a guy who's listening to Sam Smith.
Right.
And so Sam Smith tries to get a conversation going, like, hey, guy, hey, what's going on? And the guy's like, no. He can't pay attention. He's like, I don't have time to listen to you, Sam Smith, because I'm listening to Sam Smith. Well, he doesn't even recognize he's by Sam Smith.
What an opportunity he had. I mean, that's so funny.
It's just, this is the world.
And then he kind of shrugged him off. He kind of gave him a shrug off, right?
I personally have ADD so bad. If I'm talking on the phone and driving, I miss like every turn. Like
Same
every
here, brother.
turn.
Same
and
here.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got to never be on the phone. Never, ever. I don't even get the phone out. I like hide it away as I'm driving.
Oh.
Or else I will never get where I'm supposed
And I
to
go from 0 to 60 too. So like when if I do have my phone on, so on the weekends, if I ever do, slip up and have it on, a lot of times I keep it in my car. So I usually don't. But if I hop in my car and then I get a Bluetooth ding or something because I forgot to turn on airplane mode, if it's something bad, I immediately want to solve it.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what's going on. And so this is me behaving very, very, very badly about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. We had a holiday, and my phone was turned off, and somebody in my family said, hey, I picked up your phone, and I saw you had an urgent message. Could you look at it? And I looked, and see, it was like a DEF CON situation.
Oh, I hate those.
It's like a customer who wants to sue us because the haircut wasn't good, and people do this. Sometimes. They said, well, you ruined my haircut, and I'm just so upset, and I was, And so here we are on a major holiday, and I'm going, I'll just let it go mentally. I'll let it go. So I come back, but I can't come back because I'm there mentally.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot come back, and I want to come back.
You want to.
But I can't. And I am like seething, like nuclear, like epic. I cannot, because it's such a crazy situation. And Devin, you can vouch for some of these stories. But Devin, how often do we have a client that I've worked with or a former client who they can't find their passwords or their website has crashed, a website that we no longer maintain? How often does this happen?
At least once a week.
Yeah. So then I look and it's somebody's website is down and they're more pissed.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, to Vanessa, I said, babe, and you don't understand when you're dealing with someone who has dragon energy like I have.
Yes.
Just pumping through my veins, a sense of urgency to get stuff done. I'm like, babe, I have to take this call. And she goes, okay, I get you, but don't take more than an hour, please. I'm like, it'll take 5 minutes. I'm not kidding you. A full 50 minutes, I'm dealing with issue 1785. I mean, I'm just flying through it because I can't. That's why I got to put it down. I am a super productive person, but when I get home, I got to turn that thing off.
You got to.
And see, I want to.
You know your limitations, and you know that it's not self-control to put it down. You don't have the self-control that once it dings and you see a problem, then you're going to want to fix it because that's your nature.
I want to give one more tip to the listeners out here today about how to get 13 hours back per week, and I want to allow you to really just educate us here in the final 5 minutes here. Do you remember the time when you used to carry a to-do list? Do you remember when you used to carry a to-do list?
Yes, the good old days.
Remember that super small font you would write in?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, would you a yellow pad, or what was your move? Yellow pad?
Yeah, Big Chief with number 2 pencil. I loved the pencil on that paper. Oh, it just felt so good.
You remember when you got to a level where you had enough competent managers and qualified lieutenants where you didn't have to carry that list anymore?
Well, the list became really small. I mean, there's always a to-do list in my brain, but it's pretty small now.
But you know what I mean, when you could put down the big tablet?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember that moment?
I do.
And do you remember when you used to have to block out every hour because you had so many patients you were seeing per hour? You used to have a time block every hour of your day. Do you remember that when you were like 31 years old?
Sure.
I do. I remember that.
I do.
Because I was 19, I think, when you were 31, 32, something
like that, yeah.
And do you remember that, though? You had blocked out your calendar and you were still seeing occasionally you were seeing patients?
Patients and then reps and all kinds of things,
Now, what happens if someone tries to live like you now? But they're not there. They're not there yet. Like they're still on the spot. Because like I still block out my calendar because I got a lot of things I'm working on that require that kind of thing.
Sure.
But you've got a big old team of people now, and you don't have to do that anymore? What would happen if you were a 31-year-old man, 27-year-old guy, 25-year-old startup guy, and you didn't have that to-do list, and you didn't block out that calendar, and you weren't fastidious about writing crap down at that age in your career? What would have happened?
Well, I hate to think, and it's probably contributes to 90% roughly of all businesses that start up fail. I mean, this is, Forbes, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, call it 85%. I mean, you pick a number, but a lot of businesses fail. And I think it's because people start the business and they treat it like it has been around for 20 years, that it is they have someone they can count on, that they don't have to double check, that they don't have to block out their day. They don't have to really be accountable for their to-do list and really stay on top of it and just always working on it as well as working in it. So there is that balance when you start. You have to not only work in it, but that's not all of it. You've got to work on it. And working on it's having your to-do list, blocking out your day, scheduling things, and being very purposeful. It's always, to me, it's about being purposeful. And if you're not purposeful with your moments, with your minutes, with your hours, somebody's going to grab them from you. Because the game out there right now is, by getting your attention, I can monetize that. By getting you, by getting your attention, by getting you to look at something, and by looking at it, that's step one. And then all of a sudden you click on it and it takes you to that website that's selling that product. Step 2. Step 3 is now all of a sudden you're scrolling through that website and you're looking at all the colors and the sizes and all the shapes does this one glitter, that one doesn't glitter. Ooh, click, click, click. Next thing you know, you're pulling out your credit card and you're making a purchase. So attention that's why these people out here that have millions of followers can actually be paid money to have product, placement in their pictures. And they get paid to say that this bathing suit or this T-shirt comes from this company, and what they're vying for, and what they're getting paid for is your attention. So if you're not purposeful in what gets your attention, there are so many people out there fighting and scrambling and writing new code to get to bells and whistles to get your attention. And that's what we're talking about, is being in control and being in charge of your attention so that you can get some stuff done and you can take your life from here over to there, Now,
if you're a business owner, let me tell you how to really make a lot of money as a result of the jackassery. Every one of my clients who's successful always says, Clay, I would never click an ad. I go, that's because you're successful.
Right.
All right. So now, but the average person will click that ad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they'll click that ad once. They'll click that ad twice. They'll go down that Google rabbit trail. They'll chase that ad. They'll click that ad again because they're looking for something to do called a distraction.
Right.
But you, as a man of action or a woman of action, you do not. You need to use social media to show your ads. The rest of America will use social media to show their ass. That's what's going on.
That's what's going on.
You need to use your social media accounts to show your ads. Everybody else is going to go up there to show their ass.
You don't want to show your abs. So Charles, you can't put your abs on there, okay? But I guess his abs could be his ads.
Yes.
Because he's a fitness statement. Am I right? Am I right?
Wow. I know that I would be clicking that.
We decided not to do that anymore.
No, Amber says no.
Get the funnel port on that. The funnel on that.
There's an ad or two we've done, and I thought, well, we won't do that again.
Those are the ones we want to see.
So if you're out there today and you're trying to get 13 hours per week back, I've got a few steps here for you, okay? Step number 1, block out a specific time every day to look at your email. And then only look at your email then.
Only.
Step 2, get a qualified customer service rep and or a personal assistant and have them respond to your emails and tell them, hey, Clay, Amber, Charles, Z, whoever they say, hey boss, when can I ask you all of the questions that I have? What time per day can I do that? And then let them respond to the emails. But it's so worth it. I hate to see when we have such limited time. And when you don't want to lose 15% of your decade, I mean, that's crazy. 15% of every decade. You don't want to lose that to email.
No, you don't.
That's dumb.
That's stupid.
I mean, that's not a good move. That's not a good move.
It's not a good move, and it's how you free up the most important thing that you have, and that is your time. Because with that time, you can conquer the world.
You can.
You can start a business.
Do you have more hours than everybody else see in your schedule? Do you have more than 24 hours?
You know what? I feel like I do.
I was reading the.
No, I don't.
I was reading the autobiography of Oprah, and
Yeah.
I thought somewhere in there I'm going to discover where she's going to say, "Tip number 1:
Time
I
portal.
have 45 hours per day." I thought,
The time
but I
portal.
never found it. I'm reading Elon Musk's book, and I'm going, "Oh, he's got 24 hours." And I read Andrew Carnegie, and I'm like, "Well, perhaps he had more."
He probably could just buy more.
But
He
everyone
was
has
so
the
rich,
same
he could
amount of
just buy more.
time. So how do they get it done? They're saying no to grow. You got to eliminate those distractions. Okay, you got to do it. And see, I think it's time to interview our next guest. So before we do that, I think we should probably end this show with a boom.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
And without any further ado, 3, 2, 1,
Boom.
How much growth have you had since you and I first met to now, as a percentage or something?
Oh gosh, I'm guessing, but at least 400% since we started, and that was through COVID. Our sales are 4 times higher than they were since we started.
I just want people to reflect on that for a second, because I talk to people every day, Lindsay, who come into my place just like you do. People that come in, they're maybe not feeling healthy, and they come to you for treatments. People come into my life and they go, "My husband and I were contractors, we're dentists, we're doctors, we're lawyers." I just got off the phone with a lawyer he's a great lawyer. He went to college. He's checking all the boxes. He has the degree, no customers. What do you say? The guy, I just talked to a guy just a moment ago, and he's in a different state, and he's going, "I have the degrees, I've got the accolades, I've got the resumes, I don't have any customers." And you can tell he's right on the verge of a breakdown, in need of a breakthrough. What do you say to somebody who can kind of maybe feel like they're overwhelmed with this whole entrepreneurship thing?
I say it's doable. I have a husband that has a high demand career. He works 80 hours a week in the fall. We have 7 children together. They're all active in sports. So I know what a full plate looks like, and it's not impossible to be successful as an entrepreneur. You've got to follow the recipe. You may feel like Clay's given some advice that feels redundant, but it does work. And it doesn't require you to completely leave your other obligations alone. I'm at my kids' sports. I'm there for them on the weekends. I get them carpooled everywhere, and I still own a multi-million-dollar business.
Now I'm going to get into the details. I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying, but as I'm getting into the details, please understand, folks, everything I'm saying does not matter if you don't wow your customers, okay? So everything that I'm saying to you right now is predicated on the premise that you will wow your customers. Okay, Thrive Nation, on today's show, I am so fired up for you to meet 2 people. One, there is an unbelievable cheesecake business I work with based in Oregon who's doubled her company in the last 12 months, and you're going to love the story. And the second business, actually the first one on today's show, we've had the opportunity to work with this wonderful company for years, and one half of the team behind the scenes that makes Revitalize Medical Spa happen is today's guest, Lindsay Blankenship. Welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Hey, well, I'm going to pull up your website real quick because I want people to know that you're not a hologram and you're a real person. So Revitalize Medical, that's the business, revitalizemedicalspa.com. Tell us about the services that you guys provide there at revitalizemedicalspa.com.
Well, we provide all of your basic aesthetics like Botox and Juvederm fillers, all sorts of different brands of toxin fillers as well. And then we've added hormones, wellness, weight loss, peptides. That's kind of really the niche that I've sprung into, that I just love and adore, and watching people feel better about themselves again and feeling like they're 20 again. So we do everything. We love women feeling like themselves again.
Let me ask you this. If we go back to when you were 20 again, did you want to run a medical spa when you were,
No.
and I know you're still 20, but did you have that vision when you were 19 that you wanted to run a medical spa, or how did you arrive into this wonderful, thriving business that you've built?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a God thing. I never wanted to be a business owner. I always wanted to be a doctor as a little girl. Discovered a PA school as an option that seemed to fit me better. And then I met another PA who is my business partner now, and we just decided to get trained in Botox together, do it on the side, and we treated people right, have great customer satisfaction, and so it just exploded into this huge business with 3 locations. So we couldn't be happier now, but neither one of us had the entrepreneurial dream when we were 20.
What is a PA? For people that don't know that language, that nomenclature, what does PA stand for?
PA is a physician assistant. So I describe it to my kids as kind of in between a nurse and a doctor. We can prescribe. We have much more privileges than an RN, but not quite as many as a full-fledged MD. We can't do surgery by ourselves, but we can do all the aesthetics and weight loss and wellness and take care of people. So that's who we are.
Now, for a lot of our listeners, we've got about 1 million people a week that will download the show. Obviously, there's some listeners that will listen to 2 shows and some listen to 1, but there's about 1 million people a week that will download this broadcast on the various channels. And a lot of them live right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Some of them don't. For anybody who's in the Tulsa area, tell us about the services that you provide. And maybe kind of for anybody who's going, they're not at all familiar with your industry, or maybe who's your ideal and likely customer or buyer? Who's a good fit for you guys at revitalizemedicalspa.com?
Well, we treat men and women, but mostly women. As you start to notice differences in aging, whether that's physically on your face or in your body or how you feel. So pretty much, 35 and up is kind of our prime market, but we do have some 20-year-olds, we have some 80-year-olds, but mostly that kind of mid-age mom that's not feeling like she used to and just wants to freshen up, like I said, on the outward appearance or from the internal aspect.
Now, I can say this, you and I have worked together long enough now. I think it's been about 5 years, and I know people that have gone to your facility that speak very highly of your facility. How did you originally come in contact with us and my team? Do you remember how that happened, or how did you initially come in contact with us?
I know it was Krista, my business partner. She's the other 50% of Revitalize. She had a connection, word of mouth. I think it was somebody that was elephant in the room connection, maybe. I don't know. It was
a haircut business. Okay.
Referral.
Yeah. And I just want to encourage somebody out there. There's somebody watching today's show and they feel like you. They feel like, wow, I'm a mom. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm a dad. I somehow have found myself being an entrepreneur. And you guys, over the past 5 years, you guys have had tremendous growth, and now you're opening up your 3rd location. So I've got a few questions here for you. One is, how much growth have you had since you and I first met to now, as a percentage or something?
Oh gosh, I'm guessing, but at least 400% since we started, and that was through COVID.
So you're saying, just to be clear, you're saying you've grown 4 times larger than you were since you and I've met. That's a real.
Yes, our sales are 4 times higher than they were since we started.
I just want people to reflect on that for a second, because I talk to people every day, Lindsay, who come into my place just like you do. People that come in, they're maybe not feeling healthy, and they come to you for treatments. People come into my life and they go, my husband and I were contractors, we're dentists, we're doctors, we're lawyers. I just got off the phone with a lawyer he's a great lawyer. He went to college. He's checking all the boxes. He has the degree, no customers. What do you say? The guy, I just talked to a guy just a moment ago, and he's in a different state, and he's going, I have the degrees, I've got the accolades, I've got the resumes, I don't have any customers. And you can tell he's right on the verge of a breakdown, in need of a breakthrough. What do you say to somebody who can kind of maybe feel like they're overwhelmed with this whole entrepreneurship thing?
I say it's doable. I have a husband that has a high demand career. He works 80 hours a week in the fall. We have 7 children together. They're all active in sports. So I know what a full plate looks like, and it's not impossible to be successful as an entrepreneur. You've got to follow the recipe. You may feel like Clay's given some advice that feels redundant, but it does work. And it doesn't require you to completely leave your other obligations alone. I'm at my kids' sports. I'm there for them on the weekends. I get them carpooled everywhere, and I still own a multi-million-dollar business.
Now I'm going to get into the details. I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying, but as I'm getting into the details, please understand, folks, everything I'm saying does not matter if you don't wow your customers, okay? So everything that I'm saying to you right now is predicated on the premise that you will wow your customers. Every advice I'm giving you henceforth only works if you wow your customers. So step number one, you've got to be intentional about gathering testimonials from real customers that really like you. And I'm going to give you a backhanded compliment. You're like the best kept secret in Tulsa. You guys do such a great job, and customers love you, but it's not in your nature to, brag on yourself. And so the process of gathering actual testimonials from actual customers, that's been something you've learned to do. Could you talk about that for a second? Because before I met you, you were already wowing your customers. We needed to gather, case studies and testimonials from real people. Could you talk about that?
Sure. Yes. Krista and I are medical people. We are not salespeople, and we hate asking people for things. But it works, and they're happy to do it if they love you. And if you treat people right, they love you. And sure enough, the majority of our referrals are from Google reviews or video testimonials, and they really don't mind helping you out when they love you. People love to talk about what they love. So
now tracking. Again, none of this matters if you don't wow your customers, which is what you do. You have to track. What we measure, what we treasure. So your husband is in a profession where they track the amount of points that are scored. Anybody out there who watches sports, if you're watching a game that matters, they're keeping score. But for some reason in business, people don't track. They don't measure by default. Can you talk about the importance of measuring what you treasure and you and your business partner diligently tracking the numbers every week?
I think what's helped us with tracking the most is encouraging each other when you feel like you're going through the motions and you're working your tail off and not realizing how much you're growing. The tracking is vital. Also seeing where our leads are coming from and knowing all this Google review stuff is actually working is vital. I think knowing where our money's going is important, and just kind of blindly doing it without knowing any of this is not helpful in your growth.
And working with you, one thing, just to be very transparent with our listeners, I charge you a flat monthly fee. You know what the fee is going to be every month. It's a flat monthly fee. That's how I work. But there's a lot of vendors, and I'm sure you've dealt with them in the past over these last few years, that if you're not careful, they're going to send you an invoice for something you didn't ask for. They're going to send you some. Just today, I got a massive invoice, over $5,000 from a vendor that I never agreed to. And it's usually in those professional services. It's normally in the legal and the accounting and the real estate. And they hit you with these fees. And if you're not careful, if you don't fight for your profitability, nobody will. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because, and again, we're flat rate. That's what we charge you. It's a flat rate. But I'm sure you've started to see vendors try to solicit invoices and charge you for things. Could you talk about that, about watching your numbers?
Absolutely. I think greed is so dangerous, and other people that claim to be helping you or contracting with you see your sales or see some very intimate information like your bookkeeping, and all of a sudden they think they deserve more or a percent of your gross sales or whatnot. And so I think finding the right fit is super important. I think knowing the fees up front and making sure you're signing or not signing contracts is vital especially as you grow, because people want a piece of your money.
Well, in the final 5 minutes I've got you here today, I want to ask you this here. For anybody out there that hasn't been to one of my conferences before or hasn't worked with us before, I always hear horror stories, as recently as just a moment ago from this attorney. And he's like, I went to this guy's conference. Next thing you know, it's like $7,000 a month once you add up all the fees. And it's just this crazy contract I found myself in. And he was struggling to even grasp the idea that we do month to month and it's flat rate. And he's like, well, how long do you work with your clients? And I'm going, well, the average client's usually with us until they sell the brand. 6 years or 7 years, or I don't know. OxyFresh has been 18 years. Could you talk about the impact it's made on your business, knowing that, that we're a flat rate and you don't have to think about all the stuff we do in the background for you?
Yes, it's super important. And I think when we do analyze our tracking and our costs and where we can cut costs, our business coach is never on the table as far as that goes, because we know it's a flat rate. You're not going to hike up prices on us. And all the recipe you've given us for success is working. So, and just the accountability, like we would probably slack a little bit on those video testimonials if you weren't at us weekly about it. But I think it's important and it's invaluable, the price you pay.
Now, I have two final questions for you. You have a great team. For anybody out there, if you haven't been to the website, I encourage everybody out there. This is a pro tip for everybody out there. If you're watching today's show and you go to revitalizemedicalspa.com, just that traffic helps increase the rank of someone's website. So if you want to help your friends, go to their websites. It helps increase their rank in the search engine. So I encourage everybody, no matter where you're watching from, go to revitalizemedicalspa.com. But when we go to your website, you have a great team. And that's why I try not to tell, my wife is a cheerleading mother. We have kids in cheerleading, and I try not to tell anybody at all that I work with you. I watch it happen, and I hear people all the time brag about, oh my gosh, that's the place to go. If you, they're awesome. They're great. But you have great people. You have great people. Could you talk about why you're so intentional about who you hire there at your business?
Yes. I think we had to learn the hard way. We hired some bad apples to finally find the good apples. Our team is amazing. You've got to find like-minded people. I think our patients too make the business. I think we've learned to be picky with who our market is, and some people want a look that we don't want to give. And so we tell them, and we're not scared to turn away clients and say, we're probably not your best fit. So that helps a lot, finding your ideal and likely market and being specific with that and picky. And same with your employees. That's so important. Don't settle. Don't ever settle, because it'll bite you in the butt.
Now, my final question I have here I'm pulling it up right now, and I'm going to show you some data. You're a smart woman. You're an analytical person. You look at things, so I'm not assuming you just to blindly believe these numbers. But this is the U.S. debt clock. This is the website that tracks the national debt, and you might see people post about this. And we're going to try to focus on these numbers, but I want to zoom in on one number in particular. In a country of 341 million people, Americans, we only have 8.9 million self-employed people. Now, just to give you some background on this, folks, just some perspective, if 10% of our population was self-employed, we would have 34 million self-employed people, but we don't. And so if 3% of our population was self-employed, we would have 9 million self-employed people-ish, but we don't. Folks, we are talking about, we only have, 2%-ish of the American population that is self-employed. And then according to Inc. magazine, this is going to blow someone's mind here. According to Inc. magazine, and the U.S. Chamber has their own studies too, but 96% of businesses fail. Think about that. I mean, by default, most people have no idea where they're going. And by default, they fail. So as you are triumphantly opening up your third location, can you talk about just the peace of mind you have knowing that you're following a proven plan? Because everybody else by default seems to be guessing and failing, and you guys are following this plan. You're doing it week after week. Now you're opening up the third location. Can you talk about just maybe the peace of mind you feel following a proven plan?
It's worked. It's worked through 3 locations, and we're about to move into this brand new building for our third location. And because it's worked historically in the past, we just trust it's going to keep working. We always, at the end of the year, when we're looking at our total sales, it always blows us out of the water. It's way over what we predicted or shot for, and it's because we follow the process. We do the work, and it works.
Now, I'm not going to mention your husband, what he does, but I'm just going to say this. You guys are great people. I think your husband is first class. I think you're great. You and one of my clients in Oklahoma City are the only people that I know who have 7 kids. I have 5 kids. I've read stories about people that have more than 6 kids, but you guys have 7 kids. You're doing it. Everybody out there, I'm telling you, if Lindsay can find time to do it, you can do it too. Lindsay, the final 30 seconds, I'll give you the final word. What do you want to say to everybody out there who's watching today's show, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, struggling to find the time to do it? You're doing it. What would you say to anybody out there watching?
Well, thank you, first of all. I think I'm my husband's biggest fan too, and he's awesome. My biggest advice is don't give up. You can do it one day at a time, one step at a time. Again, I work 28 hours a week now, and I have 7 kids and this multi-million-dollar business that we just keep opening more locations, and it's doable. We do the hard work. We don't slack off in any department, but it's worth it. And I wouldn't trade being my own boss for anything in the world.
Well, it's an absolute honor to serve you, and I appreciate you carving out time. And just so people know, you're having massive success. I called Lindsay. I said, is there any way you can hop on the show to encourage some of our listeners? She did not call me. She's a very humble person behind the scenes. And I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone to be here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I can say just from this last January to last January, if you just took that month with our online shipping orders, we grew 240%. I would say two things, and you did not pay me at all to say this, but I would definitely go to one of your conferences, because what I tell people, it's not a motivational conference, it's an action-packed conference, and you're going to learn the steps to grow your business and scale it if you want.
If your mom has a sweet tooth, you might want to listen up. We recently talked to an Albany-based cheesecake company led by a mom with an inspirational story and some delicious decadent cakes. Check it out. I'm joined now by the owners of Beloved Cheesecakes, Jen Jacobson-Brusa and Gabe Jacobson. Thank you both for coming on. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Folks, on today's show, we have the pleasure, the honor to be joined with a real longtime client of mine, a wonderful lady. She's built a wonderful business called BelovedCheesecakes.com. Jen, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Clay.
Hey, I was good. The reason why I wanted to interview you on today's show is that at the conference we did, the last conference we did, you came up for a while. We had you do kind of a question and answer session. And we had one particular conference attendee that was telling me they were very inspired by the fact that you are just on your grind. You're implementing these action items. And they were saying that they felt through hearing you talk about how you were embracing the grind and diligently implementing the action steps that we'd been coaching you through, it inspired them that they too could do it. So I wanted to ask you first, how did you originally hear about us or the coaching program that we offer here at the Thrivetime Show?
My first time hearing about you was at the Reawaken America Tour in Oregon of 2022.
Okay. And you know, we've worked with you since that time, and it's been really spectacular to watch you grow your business. For the listeners out there that aren't familiar, I'm going to pull up your website. It's belovedcheesecakes.com, belovedcheesecakes.com. Tell us about the business, how many locations you have, and just kind of give us a little bit of familiarity into your business there.
Yeah, so I started Beloved Cheesecakes 5.5 years ago as brick and mortar in a small town, Silverton, Oregon. And that was 8 months before the lockdown. And anyways, end up having you come on board, and we've been growing. We now have 2 brick and mortar locations, have an online presence, and now I'm in a prestigious, like, bougie grocery store and 20 different restaurants and growing.
So let's talk about it real quick here. Jack Welch, the CEO of GE, and I'm not trying to paint you into a corner, and I don't expect you to be a Jack Welch expert, but he did grow GE by 4,000%. He's also the best-selling author of a book called Winning. He wrote the following quote. He said, "You've got to eat while you dream. You've got to deliver on short-range commitments while you develop a long-term strategy, envision, and implement it. The success of doing both. Walking and chewing gum, if you will. Get it done in the short range while delivering a long-range plan and executing on that." Man, I wish more entrepreneurs could hear that quote and understand it as it relates to your business and as it relates to you being a coaching client of ours. Talk to us about the balance between having the big vision of where you're going and then also needing to answer the door when a new customer comes in, shipping the cheesecakes out, hiring staff. Talk to us about the balance of thinking about your long-term vision and also your short-term daily demands.
Yes. Well, what I've learned from you and the business conference is how important it is to have a schedule. And if you don't have a schedule, your schedule is going to run you, having your to-do list. And that's what it is. It's not, I in the past have been easily distracted with the busy things, and I have to stay focused. I've learned that from you as well. There's so much I've learned from you, but just today, I'm having to work the front. I'm dealing with customers, but I'm also having to make sure that we have everything taken care of for next week and have our, inventory and supplies and all that ready for next week. So it's just staying on task, not getting sidetracked, and being able to say, I just had customers come in and they know me and they're like, "Oh, hi, I haven't seen you forever." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I have a call I have to take, so it's just staying on task."
Now, I'm going to pull up the kind of the I'm going to go 90 miles an hour because that's what it's like being an entrepreneur. So I'm going to go 90 miles an hour because that's what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And I'm going to walk people through this path that we're guiding you down, the path that you're going down, and the path that's producing success for you. First off, you have to know your goals. Jen, 90 miles an hour. Why do you have to know your goals as an entrepreneur every single day?
Well, if you don't have your goals, then what are you shooting for? It's like you're not making, I've never been a basketball player, but you're not making the shot. You're just like throwing the ball and just hope it goes wherever. So you've got to know where you're shooting and have your goals for that.
Now, I'm not fishing around for you to tell me the answer on this, but I want the listeners to know, your break-even point. You have to know how many customers you need just to break even. Maybe it's not the most fun to think about that, but every entrepreneur needs to know the numbers. Box number 3, you have to know how many hours you're willing to work. And you're somebody who will outwork almost anybody. You are a very hard worker, a diligent worker. You're also a business owner. You're also a mom. Let's talk about that, because the Bible in Genesis and Exodus, it talks about working 6 days a week and resting on the 7th. I think most Americans today don't work more than 40 hours a week. Let's talk about the grind.
It's real, we now are in this bougie market called Zupan's Market here in the Portland area, and we have to deliver to them. So we have to be up at 4:30 in the morning on Wednesdays and be delivering. And then Wednesday we had an event that started at 5 and went until 10 at night. So we didn't get home until 11:30, and that's just what you have to do. You have to keep digging the ditch. I know it won't be like this forever, but right now you just have to keep doing it.
Now, the next area, the next box, and I want to brag on you for this. A lot of clients come to me and they say, hey, I don't really have a unique value proposition. You guys had already, box number 4, had already established step number 4, a unique value proposition. Beloved Cheesecakes, you had already developed the flavors, the product, a great dessert item. I didn't need to help you with any of that. You'd already had that in place. I think the one thing we had to work together on, though, was to gather objective reviews from happy customers. So now when people go to belovedcheesecakes.com, we've got a large variety of happy client testimonials, objective reviews on Google, video reviews, and you can't fake that stuff. Can you talk about the importance of A, having a unique value proposition, and then B, gathering reviews from real people so that other people know about your unique value proposition?
Well, definitely. We have an amazing product that we're consistent. It's high quality. We have our no-brainer, which is free cheesecake samples. And I try to tell a lot of my business friends, offer something for free, or, like how you do $1 for your first month of coaching. And then what was the second part of the question?
No, I'm sorry to do a 2-part question, but I mean, one is you already had a great product, but I think one thing you and I've worked on together is making sure that the world knows it's great by gathering objective reviews. And before I met you, I think you had people love the product, but there wasn't a lot of online evidence that people did.
No, there wasn't. And I'm going to be honest, the first month coaching with you, I thought, this is so dumb. Why am I focusing on Google reviews? But I'm so glad that I focused on it. We've got amazing reviews, and it does make a difference. It keeps us up in the algorithm. It keeps us up on, people find us all the time through Google searching for best dessert or cheesecake. And then it's you want real experience. You want people to actually share and not be fake. So I look at reviews.
Now, since you and I have met, have you noticed an increase in the amount of online traffic or online orders or online purchases? Because again, you already had a great product before you and I met. And have you seen an increased amount of online traffic?
Oh, 100%. Increase in online traffic, increase in walk-ins. I mean, it's everything that I've implemented. Having you as a coach, if I wasn't doing the action steps that you share with us, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I mean, I think of myself without you in my life, and there's no way. I would not have known about the Dream 100. I wouldn't have known about the Google reviews, the images, the SEO, the more images, more reviews. I wouldn't.
And you're into what's so fun, and why I called you today. I said we have to get you on the show. Is here we had an entrepreneur you've never met before, and I won't mention his name, but he was coming to our conference almost depressed about where he was at with his life and his business. And he came to the conference because his family is so successful. So his family said, look here, buddy, you should come to this conference. And so he is a member of the same family, different business. And he's like, wow, my family's having success. There must be something wrong with me. I don't know why I'm not having success. And when you came up and had the courage to just share about, wow, this is a grind, it inspired him to take action, and it's been unbelievable the success it's had on him. Box number 5, branding. You guys have great branding. Everybody out there, if you want to see great branding, go to belovedcheesecakes.com, order a cheesecake, and you're going to see great branding. I'm talking about the packaging, the way the product shows up, the way the product tastes, the follow-up process, the way you call consumers if they have questions. Branding is a big thing. Branding is what consumers think about when they think about your business. Can you talk about the importance of being intentional about your branding?
We are very intentional with our branding. So, we are all about having a high quality, consistent product and giving excellent customer service. So we do a handwritten note with every cheesecake that is shipped. We call our orders. I mean, that's kind of a dinosaur age of people calling on the phone nowadays, but we call and thank them for their order, verify it, confirm it. And that's what we want to be branded for, is having exceptional customer service and exceptional product. And just even coming in, like going to your conference, I can try to tell everyone to go to the conference, but you have to go and experience it. And it's the same thing with Beloved Cheesecakes. I can tell you all about it. You can experience the taste of it, but it's different when you actually come in our building. And that's another exceptional brand that we have. We have signs all over the walls, and that's our branding inspiration.
Now, the final 5 minutes we have you here, again, we're going to go 90 miles an hour because that's the way entrepreneurs go. You broke away from your very busy day to do this interview, and I appreciate you doing that. A three-legged marketing stool, you have to have a consistent, turnkey, repeatable way to get customers. Now, in your business, we do the Dream 100, where we reach out to our ideal and likely buyers, and we let people know about the product, aka the gourmet grocery store, podcasters, influencers, that kind of thing. The second leg is we gather objective reviews from happy consumers, and we also write search engine content to come up top. So leg number 1 is Dream 100 marketing. Leg number 2 is online marketing. And leg number 3 is signs and wonders. You have compelling locations. You put up signage that makes sense. You're always offering the consumer a no-brainer offer for first-time customers. Can you talk about the mental stress that has gone away by knowing that you have a three-legged marketing stool of things that work? Because so many of my coaching clients tell me, they say, Clay, before we started working with you, we were trying everything and we didn't know what would work. And now we've got 3 things that do work. Could you talk about that, the importance of having a three-legged marketing stool in place?
Yeah, well, I think it does, because when you're hit as a small business owner, you have the people that have magazines, and they want you to be in their ad, or your radio stations. And, before I knew you, I was investing and bleeding with these radio ads and magazines. And, it's very simple. We have our Google reviews, we have signage, we have the SEO, we have all of these things, and we track how we ask every single person how they hear about us. And so we have a spreadsheet, and we're able to keep track of how people are hearing about us. And so we can see where our marketing dollars are of value. And we have returning customers, and so many people come in because they see the signs and then the Google reviews, so it is important, and it's simple. We make it so much harder by, doing all the other fluff, I guess. And
now,
yeah.
I don't want to paint you to a corner. I'm not looking for a hard number. I'm just trying to build somebody's encouragement they can do it. If you had to think back 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, in terms of the amount of online business you're generating now, people that find you from the internet, whether it be locally or online from out of state, how much kind of an increase do you think you've seen in online or traffic that's generated from search engine optimization, that kind of thing, than maybe 2 years ago?
Well, I can say just from this last January to last January, if you just took that month with our online shipping orders, we grew 240%.
It's so great. If you're out there, folks, I get emotional, coughing it up here, allergies. No, but if you look up Jen and her business, you are a very approachable, very normal person, but you're in the grind. And so my final two questions I have for you. Question one, what do you say to any entrepreneur out there that's stuck? They feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much that I need to do. And I'm and in this case, this young man came to a conference and his own family's there with him. He's feeling like he's not keeping up, like he doesn't have what it takes. And your message encouraged him so much. He felt like he could do it. What do you say to somebody out there that feels kind of stuck?
Well, I would say two things, and you did not pay me at all to say this, but I would definitely go to one of your conferences, because what I tell people, it's not a motivational conference, it's an action-packed conference, and you're going to learn the steps to grow your business and scale it if you want. And then also, we do here at Beloved Cheesecakes, we have our to-do list, but we've taken 6 of the to-do list items, 7 of them, make them our priority for the day, and at least to check off those 7 items, or 6, 7 items a day. So that way you are doing a little bit every day and you're seeing a dent in your to-do list as it keeps growing.
Now, final question I have here, and I know you have to get back to your shop because it's a very busy day there at belovedcheesecakes.com. A lot of our listeners, they look for a great gift idea. They want to get their spouse something for maybe an anniversary. Somebody's dating somebody. They're looking for a gift. Maybe they're going to take a gift to a family member. Maybe it's a birthday, Valentine's, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever the holiday is. And I encourage everybody out there to check out your products. But what should everybody check out if they have yet to experience belovedcheesecakes.com?
I would say check out our mini cheesecakes. You can get those. They're 4-inch cheesecakes, and you can pick up to 4 kinds. That's our ultimate sampler. You could do that. But yeah, we have Easter coming up. We have Mother's Day. We have graduations, all of those things coming up. And, it does make such a unique gift to give to someone that has everything. So,
Jen, thank you so much for your courage, A, to come up at the conference and share your story. I encourage so many people. And B, thank you for carving out time amidst your very busy day to be on the Thrivetime show today. I encourage everyone to go to belovedcheesecakes.com. That's plural, Beloved Cheesecakes with an S, belovedcheesecakes.com. Jen, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Clay. You have a great day too.
Bye-bye.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
Sean, guess what's happening June 5th and 6th right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem?
We are probably going to have an amazing business conference here at Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Yes, we're joined by Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is going to be joining us right here at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters, June 5th and 6th. He's a very successful football player, obviously a Heisman Award winner, but he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Now, when you work with real clients, Sean, clients you really work with to help them grow their companies, do you ever hear a business owner tell you that they didn't have time to get something done?
Every day.
How often is not having enough time a problem for business owners?
All the time. It's like maybe 90% of the issues as people are trying to grow their company.
Well, Tim Tebow is going to come join us here at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, and he's going to teach us time management and his approach to personal self-discipline and getting things done. Also at the workshop, I'll put up on the website so people can see it here. Also at the 2-day interactive workshop, Sean, we are going to be, there it is. We're going to be teaching accounting, systems creation, marketing, human resources, how to hire, inspire, train, and retain great people, accounting, social media advertising, search engine optimization. Sean, what's the area where most clients ask you for help the most? Is it generating leads? Is it hiring people? What's the biggest issue that most business owners have by default before they come to one of our workshops?
Well, I think it's management, because time is the most valuable resource for these business owners, and being able to manage their time is the first thing. Once they get that under control, then generally the numbers being able to track their business and be able to make the best decisions based on numbers rather than emotions is a big area. And we teach all of this stuff at the business conference, particularly you, Clay. You love to hammer on time management. It's my favorite part of the conference.
Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick here because we're going to go through. If you're not excited, I want to get you excited about what we're going to cover at the workshop here. Okay.
All right.
The 2-day interactive workshop. This is my 20th year hosting workshops. So I'm telling you, folks, we're in rare form here. So one is the idea of establishing your revenue goals. I think most entrepreneurs don't know their revenue goals. Would you agree, or am I off my rocker?
No, that's totally a very important point we do with every one of our new clients that come on board is we have to establish the revenue goals. And generally speaking, we have a vague idea, but not an exact idea that can be engineered down into like the daily goals for sales. And so that's a really big one.
Now, next is the break-even numbers. What kind of sales do you have to do to even break even?
Yeah.
Third is how many hours per week do you want to work? What is your ideal schedule as an entrepreneur? Box number 4, how do you stand out in the clutter of commerce? What makes your company unique from all the different businesses? In a world of brown cows, herds of brown cows, proverbial brown cows, the analogy of brown cows, how can you be the purple cow that stands out? How can you be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil? Box number 5, branding. How do you improve the perception that people have of you, your business, your brand? Box number 6, marketing, your 3-legged marketing stool. What is a turnkey way for you and your company to generate leads so you can succeed? Because if you don't have any leads, your business will bleed. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. You've got to generate leads. Sean, how often do business owners by default tell you they have a hard time generating leads?
It's almost all of the time. It's really a huge struggle. And many times they may be creating leads, but just through word of mouth. So they get to a point where we've implemented systems and then they need to create more leads, but they've never had to do it. So there's a lot of different scenarios where business owners are like, how do you create leads? Something we hammer on at the conference a lot.
Box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Again, box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Sales scripts, recorded calls, one-sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, all of the sales tools, the sales print pieces, the one-sheets, the big screens that you see inside the business. Whether you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you got to have sales systems in place. We help you with that. Box number 8, what does it cost you to get another customer? Step number 8, what does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? Step number 9, it's hard to build an organization if you're not organized. We're going to teach you how to create repeatable systems, processes, file organization. Box number 10, we're going to teach you how to manage people, real people on the planet Earth. This just in, we're going to teach you how to manage real people on the planet Earth. Box number 11, how to create a sustainable schedule that works for you and your family. Step number 12, how to create human resources systems for recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining great people. Box number 13, accounting. This just in, we have to cover accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We're going to cover all the accounting things you need to know. And step 14, finally, what is the point of even achieving success? We're going to go over what is the point of even achieving success, how to design a life that you're excited about, how to design a life where you carve out enough time for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, and where you're going to spend your focused time. We're going to go through that, all this and more. Now, the workshop, Sean, it's June 5th and 6th. Yep. It's a 2-day interactive workshop.
Yes.
And tickets, we always do it. It's $250 or whatever price that someone can afford. Sean, why do we let people name their price? Why do we have scholarship tickets available if somebody can't afford the $250 general admission ticket?
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out on it. You could be at a startup phase or you could be, way along in your business, but we want to make it accessible for everybody. I think it actually goes back to a story of your dad. And it goes all the way back to how you've always done this as a business coach, trying to make sure that, your average people out there have access to the things that work.
Now, 7 a.m. to 5, Sean, why do we go from 7 to 5 both days? I mean, it's 10 hours a day. 20 hours of training over 2 days. Why do we do 10 hours a day, Sean, of back-to-back workshops? We do a 30-minute teaching session. We do a 15-minute question and answer session, and then we take a break. 30 minutes of teaching, 15 minutes of question and answer, then we take a break. Why do we do that format, Sean?
That format is so that we can keep people engaged and not just sitting there listening, but also getting involved. We really encourage people to ask questions, and that's really where the juiciness of the conference comes out, is you can put your personal situation and your questions on the board, and Clay will tee off and give you direct advice. Even without being in our coaching program, you can get direct coaching from Clay. It's really a very engaging format. I enjoy it a lot.
Sean, final 60 seconds pop quiz here. What date is the conference?
June 5th and 6th, 2025, this year.
Question number 2, who's our keynote speaker coming to the conference there, Sean?
Tim Tebow is our keynote speaker.
Sean, question number 3, how much does it cost to come to our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think it's, did you say it's $250 or whatever you can afford?
That's right, $250 or whatever you can afford. Sean, how do you spell Eric Trump backwards?
P-M-U-R-T-C-I-R-E. Ooh, that took a long time.
I'll have to listen to this. You did it right. All right, again, that's Sean Lohman. I'm Clay Clark, inviting you to come join us at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sean, I'm excited to have this event. I'm excited to see you at the event, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tim Tebow, baby. It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in.
The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Sean Holmes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lintic Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy.
Guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrivetime Show here with you. It is day 2, and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me. I'll tell you what, people are so excited to be here for day 2. It is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see what today has in store.
Right now, here at the conference, we've broken into groups going over search engine optimization. And I know for most of us, myself included, if you hear that term, you go, what is that? What does that mean? That's too techie for me. Well, our experts are breaking it down for people so that you can clearly understand how to come up top in Google. It's doable. It's possible.
Now we're in the middle of a break, and what we like to do is we like to give you as much tangible and relevant information from about the start of the hour for 45 minutes. Then we take approximately a 15-minute break to allow people to connect with other entrepreneurs around them, bathroom breaks, and also use this time to just really digest all of the good information that you're receiving the whole time. Right behind me, we've got Bob with his grill gun, melting an ice sculpture. It is awesome. The ice sculpture represents our life, right? It's here for a time, but we all need to have the sense of urgency to implement the things that we're learning so that we can make the most of the time that we have.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, This is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads, going from 10 a month to 180 a month. That would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. My rich dad was one of those persons. You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody, listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.